Hello, Goddess, and welcome to this month's Divine Feminine Energy Check-in for what we still call Super Sign Sunday, which is all about acknowledging all the super signs that are all around us that are always showing you how powerful you are. So that's what we're here to do, Goddesses. Look for and find our power. We're here to recognize where our power is within ourselves and all the places and spaces where we've given it away and take it back. And that ultimately is the intention behind this Super Sign Sunday Divine Feminine Energy Check-in for this month of November. And I'm super excited. There's been so many changes underway, so many in my own life, so much in the lives of those around me. Like, we've been talking about these changes for a while, right? And it seems like it's continuing to be reiterated because there are things that we're holding on to, right? There's things that you're being asked to change, but you're not quite sure how to change them. Or maybe it's more so that you're just afraid. You're afraid ultimately to make the changes because it's unknown, because it requires you stepping out of what's familiar and into what is unfamiliar. So we have that. Let me scooch my little chair over here. There we go. Didn't realize I wasn't centered. But yes, that is exactly where we are, is having to look at these deeper spaces and places within us, within you, dear Goddess, that you maybe have been really overwhelmed with changing, right? Really overwhelmed with stepping into this new space for you. So we ask then, where is our power right now as we are looking for the answers to how we really go about shifting this, right? And overcoming this mountain of fear and doubt that, well, first and foremost, hold on, pain ends, right? That's first and foremost how we overcome these more challenging spaces and places and areas of healing within ourselves, right? And especially, I know so massively on this twin flame journey, having gone into and through and come out the other side of that, to really truly come to know that all of that pain and trauma and all of that perpetuation of it is ultimately nothing more than an ego attachment. It's something that we each have done to ourselves by creating this attachment to a single person outside of ourselves. And we do this, the exact same thing we do with any attachment our ego creates in our reality. And so right now, what this is telling me is that whatever this part or these major changes that you've been putting off or not wanting to step into this next version of self, it's because it requires you to detach, to let go, or even more so, at least be willing to let go of the things in your life that are feeding this perpetuation of pain. And that's why those, again, on the twin flame journey, you're going to come to realize, if you haven't already, I know there's so many goddesses in my world who we've come through it and on the other side, and we see it for what it is. Complete and total disempowerment, complete and total ego attachment. But when you take that step back and realize what this journey of a twin flame ultimately is for the divine feminine, is for you to break down and break through and realize that ultimately you have to choose you. You have to choose this next version of yourself. You have to choose you in the knowing that you deserve this outcome that you desire. You deserve this life. You deserve this love, this job, this career. But the only one who's keeping you apart from it is you. Same with the unconditional love, this idea of twin flame union. Ultimately, you want, beneath all of that, you want that love, right? And this is where we are. This is how we detach, is you've got to get beneath the surface of whatever this attachment is giving you, or whatever you believe this attachment could do for you, ultimately, if it ever chooses you. And that's the key with, again, this twin flame space, is if you're choosing them, it means you're not choosing you. And that's ultimately what it is to break free of the twin flame trap. It's ultimately what you need to break free of any trap that limits you and keeps you stuck in pain perpetuating cycles. That's why hold on pain ends. Because it does end when you choose to put it down, when you choose to let go of the very thing that's perpetuating your pain. And that is very much being amplified in this space of what is going on in terms of why you're feeling overwhelmed, why you really don't want to have to make these changes that you want to make. It's because you're being asked to choose you, goddess. And only when you choose you do you truly and finally attract things that choose you too. People, places, things. And by that I mean the unconditional love connection that you want. You've got to choose you. The dream job or career that you want, you've got to choose you. You've got to fill your cup. You've got to go out and learn and expand your skills and your understanding. You got to feed you. In all the ways that you feel a deficit or you feel deficient in whatever nutrients, and I'm using air quotes on that, whatever nutrients, and by that I mean mind food, because I'm a huge proponent of what I call mind food. It's no different than you feed your body, right? And whatever you put in is what you get out. So if you're putting in junk food that has zero nutritional value, you're not going to get a whole lot out of your body to the level of the physical capability that it has, right? Your health level isn't going to be at the capability or capacity that it has for you. Same with anything else you put into your mind. You put in a bunch of meaningless video games or watching, Hollyweird and all of these things, watching things that really don't move you forward, really don't fill your cup in such a way that you're able to then pour out into the world in turn. So it's so important that you start looking at what you're taking in. And that's going to be one of the biggest keys to the how. Is to the how of shifting into this new. You've got to look at what you're taking in. You've got to look at what you're putting in. So if you have, again, from whatever your body diet is to your brain diet, what are you putting in, goddess? Because that's what you're getting out. If you are on this twin flame journey and you're constantly looking for all these videos that tell you, oh, he loves you. I fell into that. I own that. And if Doreen Virtue can fall off the deep end completely into an abyss and completely pivot, this is where we are. We have new information, especially in this space of twin flames and self-love empowerment and being able to go, whoa. It's very disempowering in that space. But that's the key, is to look for and find where your power is and move yourself in that direction. And life is absolutely so much better when you do, because of what you're putting in. This is why I listen to so much mind food. I have MP3s, I've recorded videos and made audios just so that I could play them over and over. And all of my Goddess Tribe members, I am constantly sharing MP3s into the group that they're then able to download and use for their own personal use, because it's just my personal use stuff. I'm not selling them or anything. You just get them as being a part of the group, because I'm sharing with you in my Rise and Thrive tribe the very things that have been feeding and fueling my own rising and thriving journey. I mean, I'm, again, former pimped out, drug addicted prostitute. I mean, I might get flagged or banned for telling my story, because that's the day we live in of censorship and communism. But alas, that's part of what we're all here for, right? That's what we're doing here, is we're no longer perpetuating the old. And so that means to, again, be very conscious, be very mindful, be very intentional about what you're putting in, what you're putting into your mind. This whole stay positive, you have to choose. You have to choose what you're giving your attention to, right? Because what you focus on is what grows. What you feed is what grows, right? So, being gentle. This is another one of the hows, is, again, why we end up perpetuating a lot of these detrimental cycles is because and this goes back to the self-love empowerment space, it's because your subconscious patternings are naturally set for you to not be nice to yourself, for you to not be gentle with yourself, for you to hold yourself to such an expectation that you're always going to be disappointed, you're always going to be let down. And so this is why this shift that you're being confronted with right now is so overwhelming, and why it's been something that you've been wanting to avoid is because you're being so hard on yourself. That's why it's so challenging to believe and stay positive. It's because of you. You're beating up on yourself. The story you're telling is the reality you're living. So you've got to be the one to free yourself by telling a new story, by starting to pay attention to what you're even saying. Because again, if this challenge feels so massive, so heavy, so daunting, it's because you're focusing on all of the heaviness of it. You're focusing on all of the big things in it, all of the negative. You're focusing on the negative of it. And so that's why it feels so heavy and draining. It's because you're not focusing on the positive, that, oh my gosh, I step into this version of me, I make this shift, I make this shift, and then I know I'm the shit. There you go, right? You make this shift, you allow yourself to make this shift, right? Stop beating yourself up. And I know every single one of y'all hearing this video needs to hear this. Stop being so hard on yourself, goddess. Stop. Get out of your own way and actually show up for yourself. Because then guess what? When you show up for yourself with the intention that everything is working out in your favor, everything is for your highest good, and that by making this shift, you're stepping into a better and better and better version of you, which means a better and better version of your life that you're going to be living. Because if you feel good and you're confident and you know in your worth and you know in your value in this world, you are then a magnet for abundance, for joy, for unconditional love, for all of these things that you've been asking for. But ultimately it comes down to you getting out of your own way. So start to be very mindful, very aware of, and then thus mindful of what you're, how you're treating yourself, what you're thinking and saying about yourself and your life, and what your capabilities are, right? If you say, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm too old, or I recently had someone in my world who constantly was talking about how old she is and how old she's getting, and old, and my body this and this aches. And I'm like, you got to get out of my house, because we don't do that here. All right. In my world, we don't feed the story we don't want. And I'm only 44. I have my half birthday this month in November, so I'll be 44 and a half. I don't feel old. And she's 47, just turned 47, and is talking about how old she is with her little medicine cabinet of 1 billion bottles beside her, beside her bed. And I'm just like, I refuse to feed that story, because that's not the experience I'm choosing to create for myself. And ultimately, goddess, that's what you've got to realize, is that you are choosing and are creating your reality for yourself based on the stories that you're telling about yourself and to others, about your experience, about your life. The stories that you are telling to and about yourself and your life, look at them and then look at your life and go, oh shit, that's why these things are happening. So the power is in your hands, goddess. And I just looked at the timer at 14:44 right here. Woo! let's see, because we have quite a bit coming with these few cards going here. Let's check, I'm feeling all right, there you go. Let's check 1444 right quick, where we are. And we have, for 1444, because I know we've had this number recently, well, fairly recently. We've had it before, of course. Oof. Oh my goodness, and 1444 is weird. Something weird just popped up on my phone. I don't know what it was. Anyway, 1444 is ever more confirmation right now to show you or not confirmation, but more support, more guidance to show you how to shift and break down and break through these barriers that you have right now of shifting out of the old and into the new, right? Number one, follow your passion. Follow your passion, right? That's what being present is about, is that in this moment, you follow where you're being guided, right? And you listen to yourself to where you're not, oh, sorry, I knocked over my oil there, to where you're not, talking down about yourself or what your desires are. If you have a vision, you have this passion, right? And you immediately get the download, you see it, you're writing it out, you're so excited. And then the next day comes and you're like, oh, but I don't know how this is going to happen. There's just too much. It's all so big. There's just too much. And I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do blah, 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 blah. Right? They're all blah, blah, blah. All of that from the ego that's going to tell you why it won't work, so your ego can keep you where you've been, right? Can further keep you stuck in that trap. So number one, follow your passion. That leads to success and prosperity. That's 1444 is assuring you that you tap into your true energy, you step into your power like this, success and prosperity are guaranteed. Strengthening spirituality and self-worth. That's exactly what we're talking about in this video today, is that self-worth component. You got to own your worth, own your value, and then you embody that and you become a magnet. That's why nowadays I'm like, this and this and this is what I'm worth. And that's why I'm doing so much now for entrepreneurs, because they recognize, right, very much you gotta pay to play. When you're a business owner, you got to. Right. And it's just been, there's so much. I never thought I would be, supporting entrepreneurs in this way. And here I am. That's why I'm all about breaking out of the twin flame trap and into your, quote, twin flame mission, which is ultimately your own soul's purpose, your own soul's passion. Right. But you have to embody your own self-worth. Right. And that's ultimately what does strengthen your spirituality, is by owning the value of you. 1444 lets us know that many changes are on the way as you step into the passion and power of you. Exactly what we're talking about today. Life changes open life to new opportunities. And this is what we're talking about, Goddess. This is why it's so important to make these changes, because these changes are like the closed doors, right? Once you make that change, you open a door for all this new opportunity, all these amazing unknown opportunities to flow in. But if you don't make those changes to align yourself, or to, quote, open that door to let it in, then it can't come in, right? So you've got to trust in yourself. That's definitely another one of these hows. You've got to be cultivating that trust in you. And we work on this in the Rise and Thrive Tribe. That's ultimately what we're about, is you reconnecting with your power so you can rise and thrive. And that's why it's challenging, I know, for me to market the Rise and Thrive Tribe, because it's all encompassing. It's self-love empowerment. We talk some twin flame, but ultimately it all points back to self-love empowerment. That's what the twin flame empowerment journey is about. And then we have entrepreneurial empowerment that we're going to start talking more into, because I know there's a couple goddesses in there who are starting to step into their passion in that way. And that's another one of the areas I know I'm passionate about. Right? So embracing change eases suffering. Oh, Goddess, how true this is. What you resist persists. So while you're feeling overwhelmed, while you're feeling like this is just too much, I can't do this, your resistance to the change is the very thing that's making it be too much. I'm going to say that again. Your resistance to making the changes that you know you need to make is the thing that is perpetuating your own pain. It's the very thing that's perpetuating your own suffering. So, last but not least, allow yourself to be in the energy of your passion and dreams. So ultimately, that is how we shift from this old into the new, right? Is we have to immerse ourselves in that which are our passions and dreams. That version of you that you're stepping into, you have to visualize, you have to be in that energy as though you are already living that life. That's what closes the gap. That's what reprograms your mind, your body, everything. Of course, we have all sorts of other tools that we utilize along with that, right? But that's the whole point of this, is that you are empowering yourself to create these changes so that you then can create the results that you want, that are much more aligned with what you do desire to be experiencing versus what you do not. And ultimately, that is what we're doing here. And I have, apparently we needed those. Those are the final two cards here. Let's see what we got. Boom. Dance, beloved, dance. Well, looky there. Dance, number one, very much about when you're feeling this stagnant energy, when you're feeling stuck, you've got to be the one to move that. You've got to get up and move, right? And beloved, this card, in my world, for what I do, this card is about you. You are your twin flame. You are your beloved. This is a journey about you reconnecting with you, about you coming home to you, about you bringing into balance your own inner masculine and inner feminine energies, your own ego and soul, learning how to dance together in this life. Because this journey is ultimately about you. It is about you coming into this world to explore and discover who you truly are and further the expansion of both your soul and ultimately source. All that creation is, you're part of that. And you are here to expand more and more into that, which means you got to let go of the things that are keeping you stuck and limited and not expanding, and just spread your wings wide, open your arms wide, and say, I trust, I surrender, I say yes, and make that fucking leap, goddess. Make that leap. The world is waiting on you. And I say that a lot because there's only one you. And you're here to be all that you've come to be, that you are. And the only one that stops you from truly and fully being you is you. I love that Abraham says, you don't get in the way of each other's reality. You only get in the way of your own. And so true that is, dear Divine Feminine Goddess. Taking a breath, because wow, I love this, right? As we move into these winter months, shorter days, longer nights, it is about doing that deeper shadow work. This part of you that you've been avoiding, the shift that you've been hesitant and overwhelmed and even scared to make. It's time to dive deep and make those changes, because damn it, goddess, time is slipping by. It's passing you by. And no matter what, you're still going to leave this world. So why not give it all you've got while you're here? You've got this, goddess. You've totally fucking got this. And with that wraps up this month's Super Signs Sunday Divine Feminine Energy Check-In, where of course we touched a little on Divine Masculine Energy in terms of the twin flame journey and what that's about. But ultimately, this is your journey, goddess. This is about you stepping into all of you. And if he's not choosing you, it's because you are not choosing you. So it's time to choose you, to choose the version of you that you want to be and say, I am so proud of me, and I am expanding fully into me, and I am being the fullest, most expressed version of me that I've come to be. Because the power to do all of that, goddess, the power is in your hands. I'm here to help you see that, realize that. You can check the description below for the links to join the Rise and Thrive tribe, or any other ways that I can support you in looking for and finding your power so you break free from any trap that you feel stuck in. Because right, while that power is in your hands, it's knowing that that power is in your hands, because that power has always, always been inside you. Namaste.